Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wednesday Night Undressed. I'm Lewis Walton, your host, and I am joined this evening by a group of rabble-rousers. I am joined by Evo, Alena, Alex, Sofia, Jullian, Chris, Fernando, Meredith,
what up,
and Cass.
Hi.
Hi, Cass. How you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Are you happy that we're back and ready to do the podcast finally?
Yeah.
It's been a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, okay, first question. It is New Year, New You. So, do you guys make resolutions? And if you do, did you happen to make any this year? So, I'm going to start with Meredith. Do you make New Year's resolutions?
I don't generally believe in New Year's resolutions, but for a couple of different reasons. For one, my birthday is next month, so I always feel like if I want to make a life change, I do it closer to my birthday. And for two, I don't enjoy disappointment, so I don't like pretending like I'm going to do something that I just absolutely know I'm not going to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling that. All right, I'm going to change my strategy here. Is there anybody at the table that makes a New Year's resolution? Okay, Cass, what you think?
So what was the question?
Do you make resolutions, and did you make one this year?
I did. I did make a resolution this year.
What was your resolution?
I wanted to turn my reveille in every single day. Now, I know y'all don't really know what that means, but that was my New Year's resolution.
So you got to explain what that means.
Okay. Well, so it's like this thing we do in French every single day, and I never turn it in because I don't feel like doing it, and it's not worth any points at all. So I made my resolution to do it this year.
I follow.
So it's homework?
No, we do it at the beginning of class every single day.
Okay.
I just tend to not do it because I don't feel like it.
Do you get punished for it with a bad grade or?
No.
No?
No.
So there's no, incentive for you to do it? Well,
Yeah, get better at French.
Just for yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, magnifique.
Anybody else here at this table ever take French? Do you guys have any friggin' clue what she's talking about? I thought you might have, Sofia.
Yeah, I took French for 2 years. It was pretty shit. So
I do not like
Merde.
French.
Merde.
yeah, it was pretty merde.
It was pretty merde.
How about you, Chris? Do you speak French? I know you speak 7 languages.
I do not speak French. I was forced to take French in junior high. They didn't let me take the German that I wanted because not enough people signed up for it. So they didn't even ask me. You know, if they said, what language do you want to take? I would have preferred to take Spanish. They weren't going to let me take German, but they just stuck me in French.
Notice the organic entropy that is embedded into this podcast. We start with a question about New Year resolutions, and now the question is, have you taken French? 5 seconds later, we're talking about French lessons, and we've completely forgotten about New Year's resolutions. On that point, I gotta say, there's an incredible French new bakery in town.
What? After what you just said?
It's Korean.
Called Du Le Jour.
It's Korean.
It's
French.
Korean.
Korean. Yes, but it's French.
Yeah.
I know the owners are Korean. It is by Free State.
Mm-hmm.
It is where the Blue Moose used to be. Oh my goodness, incredible pastries, mind-blowing stuff. Really European French pastries that we have not had. It was like a blank spot on the market here. And it's really delicious. And the second point I want to make is you can fake speaking French if you get very, very drunk. And when you get very, very drunk, everything you say sounds like French if you follow it with the words le crétin, which means an idiot. So let me demonstrate. I'm very drunk right now, and I say le crétin.
Is that what the Prime Minister is going across the country?
Justin Trudeau. Alex, by the way, speaks French a little bit. not much.
No, I just want to add that basically this new cafe is not part of our sponsors, but it may be,
Maybe one day.
That's a good point. Je crois. That would be the content, the copy of the ad. Potocon, le
I
crétin.
think we got to get Susan on that. Like we're missing out a valuable sponsorship opportunity.
Yeah, we
So.
should.
All right, Alena, what about you? What are your thoughts on resolutions and French? So
And French
either way.
bakeries.
Yeah, and French bakeries.
And French bakers. I went to the French Korean bakery. It was delicious. That's my first thought. French in general. I took 2 semesters in high school. I was okay. I would put Bulgarian words when I didn't know the French word, which didn't. I mean, I got about a B. So, and then
Must be pretty damn close then.
and then I tried it. I tried it in college, and I wasn't quite there. It didn't quite work out. Those are my feelings on French. My feelings on New Year's resolutions. Normally, I don't make New Year's resolutions, but this year I made the resolution to schedule 2 or 3 doctor's appointments, which I think is doable.
Yeah.
I think if you're making a resolution, it should be something you can do. You can call 2 or 3 doctors reasonably within a year.
But
That's,
Now I gotta point out, those are not for her appointments; they're for mine.
well,
Oh,
yeah.
all right. I'm doing receptionist
That's
work
right.
for my family here.
All right, Julie.
I don't make New Year's resolutions because why? Like, if I'm gonna do something and I know I'm gonna do it, then I'm not gonna make that my resolution. But if I'm gonna do something and I know I'm not gonna do it, I'm not gonna make my resolution because I don't have a tie to the fact that we went around the sun one time.
Man, I'm
That's
really disappointed by your
Just
admission.
Good. I'm glad.
Let's see. Who have I not talked to about this? Fernando.
Well, this year I usually don't, and I don't care. This year I got one, and hopefully the dream gonna come true. For I quit smoking.
Nice.
So I'm already loaded on Chantix,
Uh-huh.
and I have like nicotine patches, and more stressed. So if I achieve this goal,
I
could be
recommend the
good.
nicotine lozenges as opposed to the patches. You can kind of do a little bit more if you think you feel you need a little bit more than the patch, because the patch just kind of releases it. And it was the lozenges that I use when I quit smoking.
oh yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Or you can replace one addiction with another. That's the easiest way.
Oh well.
So porn works.
Wow.
Doesn't coffee work?
Yeah, but everybody
He's
here is
already
already addicted to coffee.
I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Not like you weirdos.
yeah, give yourself like 3 more years.
I'm never gonna drink coffee.
That's
Just to
that's
spite
wise.
you.
That's,
Just to spite you.
that's perfect. We're gonna record.
Mark it
that.
down. Put it on an ancient tablet. I'm not gonna drink coffee.
Alex, what about you? Do you make resolutions? Did you this year?
Actually, I do not make a resolution, but I kind of, reconciliate what was the past year. Unfortunately, 2022 was very tough for me in the personal way because I lost my mom.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And, I just kind of try to, prioritize what is the more valuable for me in my personal life, and that's about it. I mean, I want to do some better financial discipline as much as I can, because everybody is talking about the big R, recession, for this year.
Right.
So that's something that worries me, but again, I mean, I try to live one day at a time, I guess. So no like a major New Year's resolution for me.
Cool. I think maybe that means I'm the only one that like has resolved to like lose 100 pounds, win the lottery, and like get my hair to grow out.
Yeah.
You get a haircut.
I gotta point out that you can do the first resolution in like literally in seconds. If you go to London and lose 100 pounds,
No joke.
it is very, very quick.
Buy 3 sandwiches.
You
Yeah.
Lost 100 pounds.
You can do it in 2 different ways.
It is. This question is more about whether you're a planner or not. If
Yeah.
you do long-term planning or not, and most of the people I know really don't. And it's hard nowadays because life is so dynamic and things change so quickly that it's kind of hard to make long-term, one-year plans. But we all a little bit, maybe some of us intuitively do when the year resets and we look at the past year and we look at the things that we failed to do. Like with me, I eat a lot of sugar and I'm still alive somehow. So my resolution was to continue eating sugar and still stay alive.
Exactly.
And then, I've been laboring over a book and a theatrical play, and I need to finish those. So that was my really immediate, easy, resolutions.
Mm-hmm. So I agree with you, and quite honestly, I agree with Jullian. Like, I don't make plans because of a arbitrary day. I am much more of the type that I will, get an idea that there's something that I want to do and just start doing it. Just as for example, I quit drinking sodas on August 16th of one year. I remember the day because it was such a weird day. But then I went for 4 years without drinking soda.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
bourbon.
Just bourbon. Yeah.
Yes.
I just got rid of the soda altogether.
No water.
Uh-huh. No. That's blasphemy. Yeah, Julie.
So that's kind of what I meant. I don't make resolutions that I don't think I'm gonna be able to do. So it's not gonna be anything crazy like world domination for now.
But next week.
Yeah. And I feel like New Year's resolutions are kind of weird because everybody's doing them at the exact same time, and most of the time they're very basic goals. And instead of pledging to do it on New Year's, why don't you just do it before then, on August 16th, like you did? Because why wait until some random day when you're just likely to stop it?
You are
not
if you have to, getting additional allowance just because. I know.
I'm just if you have to wait till a special date to do it, then you're probably not going to keep up.
The concept of New Year resolution is kind of dangerous because some people that don't have the vocabulary, they don't even know what resolution is. For example, our former president assumed that we're talking about New Year's revolution, and then on January 6th, right after New Year, he decided to act on it. So look what happens. It can be a dangerous idea.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of resolutions. For me, at the start of the year, I kind of think about what kind of goals I want to accomplish that year. Some of them have been goals that, have kind of been there every year, particularly, around my golf game, to bring that back up again. But there'll be other ones in there, I have this project for building a geodesic dome that I'm going to be using as a tent in Winfield, hopefully another couple of years. I'm going to be working on that, hopefully the rest of this year. Play a lot with my cats because we got 2 new kitties, and they're adorable. And then there's other house projects. I got a front and a back porch that's probably going to have to be replaced, either this year or next year. There's some work down in the basement that needs to be completed this year. So those are the kinds of things I do around this year.
So you're thinking more about kind of trivial things, not things that are going to change humanity. You're not thinking about this year I'm going to create something that will have an impetus and will carry into the next decade humanity.
Yeah, if I can, truly become the professional golfer that I really want to be, and I can make a ton of money and I can use it to better the world, then yeah, I'll start doing that this year. But I can't really plan on that one. All I can plan on is focusing on the next shot and making sure that I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to be doing when I'm taking my club back, and focus on my stance. And
oh my gosh, I just had kind of a moment because you introduced sports into the topic, and I thought that if you're a soccer player, your goals for the next year is probably more goals.
Yeah.
But if you're a goalkeeper, your goals will be less goals.
Except on those rare occasions when you do take a penalty kick,
Yeah.
All right. I'm glad you kind of led over there because that brings up the next question. Hold on, I feel like I got an alarm going off. Oh, that's not me. Okay, even better. All right, so the next question, Evo, I included with the hope that you would kind of lead the discussion on what the NFL did when Mr. Hamlin got injured or had his heart attack, basically, on the field. Like, I have gotten lots of reports on, or I've read lots of things on, like whether or not the NFL handled it appropriately in the beginning and now. And I just wanted to like start by getting your take on it.
So, as you know, most football games in the United States, American football games, are played on a Sunday. Almost all of them. And only one game is played on Monday. One single game. Because they usually select the most interesting game, put it on Monday night, and they know that the entire country will be watching. Millions and millions and millions of people will be watching. So, a week and 2 days ago, the entire country was watching the most interesting game of the week, and it was Buffalo Bills versus Cincinnati Bengals. All of you probably saw the footage. I was watching it in real time. It was quite a shocking experience because the way this play unfolded was very routine. We had a very, very standard defensive tackle performed by Damar Hamlin on T. Higgins, the wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. And it was really textbook material. That tackle was excellent. There was no collision, head-to-head collision. He avoided it successfully. He performed it the way he was taught. He opened up his body, he opened up his chest to absorb the momentum of the player, and brought T. Higgins down after a gain of about 13 yards. And then the defender, a young man, Damar Hamlin, 24-year-old, second-year player, completely unknown, got up on his feet, jumped up from the turf, made a couple of steps, and collapsed. And he lost consciousness. You can see it before his body hit the ground. And so it was incredibly frightening. I have watched decades of football now, 3 decades, more than that. In Europe, we didn't watch American football, but I started watching it a little bit before I came to the United States, thanks to a friendship I had with Marines at the American Embassy. And so I've seen some horrific injuries. Most notable, I've seen a defender named Dennis Byrd get paralyzed on the field against the Kansas City Chiefs. He was playing for New Jersey or New York, I forgot, New Jersey, I think. And our quarterback back then was Dave Krieg. He made one step forward to avoid the 2 defenders, and they crashed into each other. And the Bird was paralyzed and remained paralyzed basically for the rest of his life. He passed away a few years ago. So I've seen some stuff, but I've never seen anything like it, where they performed CPR within seconds. The medical personnel rushed on the field, ripped his jersey, and administered AED and CPR for 9 minutes. And that saved his life because his heart had stopped. So, believe it or not, a week later, Damar is home. A week later, after being in intensive care, after CPR, secondary CPR in the hospital, and cardiac arrest, and basically dying on the field, he's back. Now, the ambulance got on the field. His teammates were on their knees praying around him and crying. I've never seen anything like it. It was amazing. And the entire country saw it because it was on Monday night. And now, thousands of people die every day in the United States. And we don't think about it. A lot of innocent people die. A lot of murders. There are car wrecks. But in this case, it was a shared experience. It's like when you're in the movie theater and you experience a movie all together and you're shaken emotionally or made to laugh or made to cry by the movie. That was kind of a shared experience by the entire country. Your question was, did the NFL handled it correctly? I say they did because they only showed they didn't show replays of the event. They showed minimum commercials, which would be very cynical if they kept running commercials. Instead, once they realized how serious the situation is, they cut away from commercials, got back to the announcers, and they just spoke about their hopes for recovery and how shaken they are and what happens next and how we can help and all that stuff. And so I feel like they handled it correctly, and most importantly, they canceled the game.
Right.
So 5 years ago, 10 years ago, this game would have played.
Keep running.
Right.
Dennis Bird, when he got paralyzed and got carried away on an ambulance, that game continued. And Kansas City Chiefs won. I remember that game. Yeah. This is a giant industry with 30 corporations that are united, and they function together to make a product. The product is very expensive and brings in billions of dollars every year. All they care about is the bottom line, about money, about making money. So it was, kudos to them that they canceled the game. They stopped. They didn't say, let's go and play it. But that, I have to say, is due to a lot of pressure from society in the last 10 years because of CTE and all the horrible data that is coming constantly about head injuries and the debilitating consequences of head injuries. So I feel like there was been pressure from social media, from millions of people, and they felt like if they continued this game, it would be very damaging to their product.
Right.
I want to say, before I stop yapping about this, we've been talking for 10 days now. The entire country is overwhelmed with the stuff that I'm saying right now. You probably know everything about it. So there's 3 things that I did not hear enough in the press and have not been covered by the media correctly. One thing, first of all, AED, automatic external defibrillator. Myocardic fibrillation is the reason people die, because your heart is disrupted. It's electrical impulse that drives your heart. Once this electrical impulse is disrupted, the heart stops, and one simple shock, electric shock, can put your heart back in rhythm and save your life. AEDs should be everywhere. There should be one in this bar. There should be anywhere where youth sports are performed. A young heart can stop. This 24-year-old heart stopped even though he's one of the strongest men on earth. And only the AED being there was the reason that he was shocked back into life, and the CPR. People should be trained in CPR everywhere. I am a coach in high school, and I undergo CPR training every season. And we have to we have to know how to use the AED, which we have, thank God. And we have to prove that we know how to perform it on a dummy. And we have to pass tests on CPR and AED. So it's very important. That's one of the things that I feel like should be covered more. And there should be pressure now on everybody to have AED. Everywhere people congregate. Secondly, do you know who Brian Kohlberg is?
No.
Kohlberger? Do you know Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes.
Do you know who Matt Gaetz is?
Uh-huh.
Do you know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is? Okay, Brian Kohlberger is the guy that killed 4 Idaho students.
Wow.
And he's been in the news non-stop. His face, his name. Have you heard the name Danny Kellington? Okay. Danny Kellington is the man who performed for 9 minutes CPR on Damar Hamlin. He is a true fucking hero.
Right.
He's a man that is professional. He's a young man, but he has gone for 11 years. He's performed his duties at the highest possible level. He's a man that knows how important his position is as an assistant trainer, and he's a fantastic crisis manager.
Right.
And this man, if not for him performing 9 minutes of perfect CPR and administering perfectly AED, Damar Hamlin would be dead now.
Right.
It was his actions were the difference between life and death. Why the fuck don't we know this name? Why is the media not constantly repeating the name Danny Callington, Danny Callington, Danny Callington, non-stop? Why do we have to know Jeffrey Dahmer? Why do I have to know Marjorie Taylor Greene, who hasn't done anything in her life? Or Lauren Bobbitt? No, they have not passed a single bill. All they do is being media whores and trying to get their name in the news. This man is a hero who deserves a fucking medal. And we don't know his name, and we are not going to know his name. So this is another problem that I have with the media and the way it covered the issue. And the third thing that I think we should all think about is in this country that is so divided, that in the last 6 years I've lost faith in, that I look at people who are fans of one team or another, of the right or the left, progressives, or conservatives, old and young, men or women. This division and polarization was driving me crazy. And I had lost faith that we can be united. But then in 1 minute, the entire country was united. And now for over a week, I saw people that didn't ask what party they belonged to. They were just kneeling on the streets, praying for a guy whose name they didn't know until recently to survive. Humanity is part of us. It's dormant. Unfortunately, it's been latent for a while, but it can be triggered by a simple event like this, by a shared experience, and this love and compassion for a human being is there. It's part of us, and it's worth fighting for. That's what I have to say.
I appreciate that. It's incredibly difficult for me to make a porn joke now after you said all that. But I agree with you 100%, especially on the AED training. Like, just show of hands, because I don't want to put anybody in the spot. Does your business have an AED device? Yeah, see, this is shocking to me. Like, I didn't have any hands go up. I know the schools have them. I'm sorry. I would expect the schools to have them. So our preteens, they
I don't think mine
not
does.
at school, not at school. So how do you guys know about AED devices?
My company.
One man Izzy shared a room. She kept watching Grey's Anatomy, and I kept seeing them. That's the. And I mean, I've seen them in like TV. Or
Is that
stuff,
the
but
defibrillator, right?
Yeah.
It's
We
the
had them
little
all over
doctor
my
show.
school. We had like 3 or 4 spots with them.
Are they being expected and they're doing, because you gotta calibrate and
I
need
have
to
no
make
clue.
sure.
I will say
you
I
should've
watched
checked.
a girl a few weeks ago fall down in front of me in the hallway and have a seizure.
Did you use
and
the?
I had to go get the nurse, and she had to get the stuff. But yeah, I know we had them around our school.
They're very easy to use now. So the new ones, the Philips ones, they're the most commonly used. You just push a single button, and then a voice comes and starts directing you
right.
and says, take this pad, remove the sticker, follow the picture on the pad and put it exactly where the picture tells you. And then the voice directs you all the way to CPR. You administer the shock with another button. So there's 2 buttons, and the voice tells you, push the shock button, the red button. And then it tells you start CPR, and then a metronome starts directing you your intervals of CPR. It just says follow the sound.
Wow,
It's really easy, yeah.
That's super cool.
I want to buy one.
Yeah, I think they should be in your house too.
Yeah.
Like-
They should be where there's sports played. They should be here. They should be everywhere. Malls, and most importantly, strip clubs. Striptease.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
they got different ways of shocking the heart at the strip club. So, go ahead, Julie.
Evo, you said something kills people right before you started talking about defibrillators, right?
Yeah.
What did you say? Because I swear, I thought you said whatever the acronym is.
Myocardic fibrillation. So this is where the muscle, the heart muscle, stops contracting.
I thought you said
And
like the defibrillator. I thought you
def-
said they killed people. So
Yeah,
I
no,
was
the
confused.
defibrillator stops shocks the heart back. So the fibrillation kills you. Defibrillation saves you.
Alright.
So yeah.
So I know most of the folks at this table are not like hardcore NFL fans. I'm assuming everybody's at least heard of this story.
No. Not
Go ahead,
before
Mary.
this.
Okay. So while I appreciate everything you're saying about myocardial, whatever, yada yada, AEDs, whatever, all of that is great. The question is how did the NFL handle it? And the NFL is the league and organization at the top. So yes, I realize that they finished the game however many years ago, but to me, I was just super annoyed at the fact that there was even debate because like the ESPN announcer said like 4 times the game was going to continue.
Yeah.
Like they're not pulling that out of their asses. Like somebody told them that it
Yes.
was going to continue.
Yes.
And like the mere fact that it was a debate, like, hey, a guy almost just died on the field.
But we should keep going
Like,
though.
right? Like maybe no. But
Like,
like
we want
we've got-
more money.
We've got huge ads. We've got huge sponsors that
That's what I'm
want
saying.
their time. But like, I mean, first of all, like, what does it say about it? Because like, here's the other thing. Like, everybody was waiting on bated breath to see if the game was going to continue. It wasn't like if the game didn't continue. Like, or I mean, if it had continued, like America wouldn't have watched it. Like they totally would have watched it. Like that says something about us, and that says something about the league. That like, I mean, because don't get me wrong, I love football. I'm a fan. I'm not like a diehard fan, but I am a fan. But I just don't understand at the end of the day how important a game is to us, where people are literally killing themselves to play it.
Yes.
And like the mere fact is like we're debating on whether or not, oh well, maybe after a guy just almost died, we should maybe stop.
But we want more
Like, the
ads.
players had the right idea, but like they're not. I mean, they are the league, but the top people at the league were like, nah, they're worth more money if they play.
Well, if I can say something, it reminds me about the Roman Empire. If you see the gladiator, it's same concept, you know, the bread and entertainment. So it was back in the days that, you know, people literally kill each other for the entertainment of the, you know, population or whatever, of the spectacles. So nothing changed since then, I think. I mean, obviously, it's just modern society, but everything boils to money and entertainment, because more people are watching the game, more money comes from the advertisement. So it's a big machine, money-making machine, and the humanity is, I think, on the second part. It's not built to have a humanity at the end of the day, right? It's a business model. That's what it is. And
Built
it's
off of humans, so it
That's right.
should have
Absolutely,
humanity.
that's right.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. I mean, it's just we need to accept it. And of course, I shouldn't say it's okay to continue the game, but that's the decision that they make, like Ivo said, just to not have like bad publicity. So the people will not watch the game. So they will lose more money if they stop the game than they will earn if they continue. So it was a business decision at the end of the day.
Exactly.
That's my feeling.
Absolutely.
I think it's very like bad after this person actually died. Like, yeah, they're back alive now, but this person died. They were dead. And yeah, I think that's a bad decision on their part.
Yeah, I mean, what I was reading was that it was the players themselves that ultimately said, no, we're not going to continue this game. Because I was reading one of the articles there, and there was a conference, and both the Bills and the, was it Patriots? Bengals were around the NFL rep that was there at the time, who was on the phone with the higher-ups
Commissioner, yeah.
in, New York or wherever. And the players and the coaches of the teams were saying, we're not playing. We don't care what you say. We're the ones who getting on the field, and we're not going to continue this game, which, gives me some hope for, the future of the game. But I will give praise to the league for the emergency response team. I mean, that I remember hearing it was either the day after or maybe a couple days after when I was running some errands and listened to NPR in the car. They had a press conference, and they were talking to the team, or to this team, and how they do their prep work before every game and are basically just ready to go. And, how they basically, as soon as this happened, they went, like you were saying, this guy, he's a great crisis manager and, did their stuff. And I would like to say, yes, this man was a hero.
Danny
But-
Killington.
But really, I don't know that I really want to know his name because I would rather him be just kind of this nice anonymous guy who's out there doing their job and not being bothered by everybody who wants to come and, sing his praises. Because you can get the problem where people like that, either they just get so hounded because everybody wants to know them because they're the hero of the day, and they never get a moment's rest because there's always people who want to have a piece of them, basically. Or worse, it goes to their head, and then they don't become the great crisis manager. So,
Well, nowadays in our society, it's all about being on social media and being recognized, and people are monetizing their recognition. And so we have all the wrong people having their names out there, and then what is the consequence? The next generation wants to emulate the wrong people because they're in your face and they're well known, and not emulate the right people who stay in the shadows. Now, this is a part of a much bigger conversation, which we probably won't have time for today. But the point that Meredith brought up, NFL is. This sport is very violent and very dangerous. So I've written a lot about CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. And I did a massive research about 5 years ago and got in touch with Chris Nowinski. Now, that guy, his job is to collect brains. This is a very morbid sounding description, but that's exactly what he does. He is this guy that has decided he's going to collect the brains of all NFL players that die suspiciously young. You remember Junior Seau? And Belcher, the Kansas City guy that killed himself in front of the Arrowhead Stadium, killed his wife and then shot himself in the head. That was just 5-6 years ago. There's cases like this every year where young men, 30s, 40s, become inexplicably violent and suicidal and aggressive, and they all have in common years of playing football. And so Chris Nowinski decided to collect their brains, ask their relatives, and to his surprise, the relatives agreed because they knew something was wrong with them, with their sons and brothers and so on. And so the discovery was devastating. These brains are studied in the MIT. There's the biggest brain bank in the world now because of this guy. And 99.9% of all those brains exhibited advanced stages of CTE, which is basically very similar to Alzheimer. It's an accumulation of tau protein in the cortex. But basically, NFL was killing people. And what Alex said about the Colosseum and the Roman Empire, yes, those men are basically gladiators. They sign a contract with the devil for a few years of career in sports and a very, very brief fame and a few $1 million. They pay with their life. People die because of this sport. And these are gladiators. Yes, the chains are different. The chains are made out of money.
Right.
And the cages are green, and in between the bloodshed, there's Doritos commercials, but really the result is the same. Young people dying on a blood-soaked Colosseum of supply and demand. That's what it is.
So, Fernando, I know you feel like everybody should just switch to surfing, right?
Surfing and skateboarding.
I'm sorry, skateboarding. You're a
Skateboarding.
Yeah.
So
Also dangerous, by the way.
Well, yeah, it got way more like,
Maybe more pleasant to die,
at least it's a good trick,
there you go. All right, I'm going to move on unless somebody else has something they want to say. Go ahead, Jules.
So, I know they made the decision not to get on, to get bad media attention, but I feel like that makes it a good thing. A good, what was it? What was the question?
I don't remember.
I'm trying.
We're talking about NFL.
You're
Yeah, I
asking
know,
if they
no,
if
I
you think
know.
it was good that they handled it the way that they did.
Yeah, I think it was a good that they handled it that way because while they might not have had the best intentions, at least they did decide to cancel it, because if somewhere they decided to not cancel it, then that would have probably been the worst decision they could make. But they decided to.
It wouldn't have made anybody walk away from football, though. That's the sad part.
I feel that like it honestly might have attracted more viewers if they'd kept it running, because people like me who have never watched football voluntarily were seeing like this name popping up and we're like, what's going on? And so then they would click to see what was going on.
Right.
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah, similar to Oscars and Will Smith, I think.
Yeah.
Can you guys believe that in the same year we lost Queen Elizabeth and Will Smith?
I know,
Wow.
right? That's pretty sad. That's pretty damn sad.
By the way, just one more point. Just like we have concussion of the brain, there's concussion of the heart. It's called commotio cordis. And this is
Now
what
you're just
happened.
making that
Are you-
up.
This
You're
is
just
what-
making that up. now.
Are you a
No, but
doctor?
this is what happened to the guy. So this is well known because it happens in baseball.
Yeah.
Sports that have a projectile flying with a lot of golf. If it hits you in the chest at the right heart cycle, it can stop your heart. Commotio cordis. So hockey, baseball, even in golf, lacrosse, even in soccer,
days.
it can happen. But
'Cause it
mostly in baseball.
Can I say something real quick? I think what Meredith is saying is very valid. That it's very sad that you're watching this and then you're seeing, oh, these people still will not give up football, even though you're seeing the research is coming out that 99% of people are going into the field and coming out with severe brain damage. People are going into the field before this event and they're getting paralyzed and they're continuing to play games, even though somebody's been paralyzed on the field. Now, very recently, thankfully, this person has survived and they stopped the game and allowed this person to survive. But people will still play football and people will still do MMA and people will still box.
Their
Even though
choice.
these sports are killing the people who are engaging in them.
Their
So
choice.
I have to jump in just for a second and say that I love Meredith like she's my sister, and that is why I am comfortable with saying it is never a good idea to tell Meredith that she's right.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good.
on.
That's a good
You
point.
made a dangerous mistake, Alena. I forgive you. I forgive you. Watching football is a little bit, it's hypocrisy. I feel hypocritical every time I watch a game. I feel guilty. I feel guilt. But, it's like watching a train wreck or Biden's speech. You know that it's going to end disastrously.
Speaking of Biden, let's move on to the next question.
Hang
hold
on,
on,
two
hold on.
shakes of a lamb's tail,
Hold on.
because you said multiple times, Fernando, you said it's their choice, it's their choice. So I'm just going to...
Their choice.
I'm going to go a little
Their
socioeconomic
choice.
with you. A lot of times, that sport is... A lot of children, like if you notice,
My son- my
hold
son
on,
plays
2 seconds.
football.
Let me finish my. I know your son plays football. My brother plays football. My brother also destroyed his body over football. So my point though is you say it's their choice, it's their choice, it's their choice. This is my concern, and I just gotta throw this out there. A lot of times, what we are talking about, the NFL is 90% black. There's a reason for that, and that's a socioeconomic thing that needs to be kind of taken into account when you're saying things like it's their choice, it's their choice. A lot of times, these kids that are playing this football, it was their only way to make it out of their neighborhood. That is the only ticket they had to ever get to college. It's also, once they get to college, the only way they have to take care of their family. So it is a gilded cage. It is a contracted agreement for you to offer you life. But,
It's
sorry.
like if you join
That's my
military
thing.
service. I mean, it's their choice.
No, it's
Very
true.
appealing. Very appealing. But
It's
their
true.
choice.
And we've had the same...
The other option is starving, though.
So for over 140 years, we had the same issue with boxing.
Yeah.
So boxing is well known. All boxers, you've heard the term punch drunk, right? Okay, that's CTE. Boxers, young boxers, they know exactly what they're signing up for. They know that they'll be paying with their health, with their mind, their cognitive abilities, and their life. And they've been doing it for decades and decades because they want to get out of poverty.
And that's fucked up
so
that we have
sad.
people in that
So
position
sad.
that's their option. Like, your option is, like, your only way out is to destroy your life and your health and basically sacrifice yourself so that you can have something to give your kids. That's fucked up. That's America.
All right. So after that, we are going to switch gears, and I'm going to ask a very serious question.
Thank you.
What are your feelings on Bigfoot?
I knew that's what you were going to ask.
Fernando.
Okay. Those things, like, how they call, like, I mean, there is Bigfoot, there is the Yeti, there is Sasquatch, there is the Snallygaster, and
Abominable Snowman.
from centuries and worldwide. I mean, just the Bigfoot. You have sites, documented, between not really, like nobody, just those, out of focus here and there, usually alone on pretty much every state in America. And how in the hell in this country that you have drones, electronics, lot of population, how never one of those got captured? So my point is, I mean, even though, like, you still gotta believe, like, platypus, once upon a time they were on the same classification because they're weird, and the science say, oh no, never heard about this thing. Eventually they found that, okay, it's from this island, capture, like, I think even the orangutans perhaps was once, like, the science said, oh no, we don't have those in our records. But I mean, I wish they were, like, real, but I think it's all BS, all folklorical.
I don't want to hear from you anymore.
But that's
next. Anybody else got a better
Sofia.
opinion of Sasquatch?
Oh my. So there was one time I was in the hospital. It was very, very painful. I was in a lot of pain. I was, like, curled up in a ball crying for hours before I went and told my aunt I think I might need to go to the hospital. And as we were in the very full waiting room, the only solace that I had from the excruciating pain coming from inside my body was the show Finding Bigfoot. And although they have never found Bigfoot, I must say their passion is inspiring. Their faith in the Bigfoot is really something else. The way that they try and, like, analytically be like, no, they go and investigate claims, and they're like, now see, this isn't what you would typically see from a Bigfoot. So this can't be him. And they, like, gather all this Bigfoot evidence. And they've never once found him, but I trust that they're getting there.
almost there.
That's an appropriate opinion. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, Jules, what you think?
So. I love the idea of Bigfoot or Sasquatch because it's so funny that I think there's just some guy just roaming around all the time, like, in the forest. And I would like to think that every time somebody has a Bigfoot sighting that it's real, but they always just have such a low quality that nobody can believe them. And then there's this guy who said that a great movie would be something called, like, Stoner Bigfoot. Basically, the reason why he's so mysterious and nobody can ever find him is because, he's a stoner. And he's actually been growing weed in the forest this whole time. And these guys and these people searching for Bigfoot, just go to a forest. They find him, and they offer him some. And he invites them to this big old cryptid party thing where Mothman is doing
Mothman's
stuff.
my favorite.
Is this a real movie?
No, this was
You
just...
should write this.
I want to make
I could
this...
totally get behind Stoner Bigfoot. Like,
It's time to write.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why I love Bigfoot. The funniest guy.
But I'm still getting the impression that you don't think Bigfoot's real, so I don't know that I want
Why
to
would
hear
you
from
say
you
that?
anymore.
Why would you say that? I know he's real.
If Bigfoot is real, he's probably dead by now because I've been hearing about this stuff for 50 odd years, and that if there was ever only one of them, that's why he hasn't been found. Then he's definitely got to be dead by now. Because if there was, like, a family of them or a species of this, we would have seen it by now.
Are you dead?
Like Fernando was saying, orangutans were once believed to be, not a real thing. Just like giraffes were once not believed to be a real thing until someone, at least in Europe, not believed to be a real thing until someone, brought one back, and then people were like, oh, okay, wow, that's a pretty weird creature. So I don't, just like Loch Ness or Mothman or...
Loch Ness is real, you fucking liar.
You keep her name out of your mouth.
Yeah, I'm feeling like I need to cut your mic right now.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question.
You can't cancel me.
If Bigfoot is
Canceled.
dead, if Bigfoot is dead after 50 years, how are you alive if you've been around for all those 50 years?
Oh.
Because Bigfoot had to have been at least 30, 40 years old because
Who's to say
they've
he's not?
had sightings since the 50s, and that
How do
was
we know that Bigfoot
that
has
was
the same lifespan?
10 years before I was born, so he was at least an adult by the time these people were seeing him. So he would probably be like by the time now like around 100 or something like that.
Okay, and what if he's just
And the only thing that I know that lives around to be 100 is like the tortoises, and they are really slow and easy to find.
Yeah, but he's just really good at hiding.
No,
So
because
Miss-
like, what if he doesn't have the same lifespan?
He's a very healthy all-grain diet.
Like, what if he can live until like a trillion or infinity?
On 50 states, they found Bigfoot.
So, Alex, in the northern lands in Canada, do they have a comparable Bigfoot? Or do they have Bigfoot, or do they have something comparable?
Well, I should say that in Calgary area, Alberta, I don't think there will exist the Bigfoot because it's so cold that even the birds cannot survive in the winter. It's just freezing cold. So maybe in British Columbia, which is more mild weather, there will be a possibility of Bigfoot. Also, in like 6 or 7 months winter, even if you are able to survive, you need to eat something, right? For this big animal, I don't think he will be surviving only eating snow.
How about the appropriately named in the appropriately named Saskatchewan? Maybe he's there. The Sasquatch maybe is in Saskatchewan.
The Squatch
What
is
a-
in
what about-
Saskatchewan.
I mean, it's named literally after that province, after that area.
I
me out.
never been there, I don't know.
Wait, hear me out. The abominable snowman. Just Bigfoot's
Yeti.
just
Yeti.
Bigfoot's cousin that likes the cold.
Yeti, by the way, that's a common mistake. Yeti is no. It's a very. It is kind of
Right,
The
bro.
northern climate Yeti.
it is an erroneous translation of Yeti as an abominable snowman. It actually, in the Sherpa language, Yeti literally is an extremely disappointingly translated as a thing that's out there. That is actually the literal translation.
What about you, Alena? What are your
Oh, do
feelings
I believe
on
in the
Squatch?
Sasquatch? Of course I believe in the Sasquatch. I was in downtown Lawrence just yesterday. And not only do I believe in the Sasquatch, I believe in the high Sasquatch, as you said, because I was in front of a cannabis store. And I saw in front of the cannabis store a full, you could call it a statue or sculpture, but what I saw was a Sasquatch.
Yeah, it's real.
What I saw was a 7-foot Sasquatch in front of the cannabis store.
You're right. Have you guys
So I
That
do.
sounds
Yes,
like a line
you've
straight
seen
out of
it.
Half Baked.
I believe
the
now.
reality of the Sasquatch right in front of the cannabis store. High Sasquatch is a real phenomenon. I
real.
took an image and everything.
No, seriously, there's a
It's
statue.
real.
There's a statue of a Sasquatch.
Don't call it a statue. It's a Sasquatch.
It's the actual Sasquatch on mask. He's not moving, and he's mostly fiberglass.
This is why you can't find him.
But yeah, it does exist. Yes, Alex.
But if you take a couple of pots, it starts moving.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So-
a couple of puffs. That's all you need.
So, do you guys have you guys heard of Reinhold Messner? Okay, I'll continue about this after Meredith. I'm sorry.
Meredith, what?
Meredith, you
Are
speak.
y'all asking
Here
me
you go,
if
here
I
you go.
believe there's shit in the woods that's gonna kill me that I may not have a name for? The answer is hell yeah. That's what I got.
Yeah, Reinhold Messner is the greatest high-altitude mountain climber in history. So Louis has heard of Reinhold Messner. In Europe, everybody knows this name because he's a legend and kind of a media personality. Reinhold Messner, very charismatic, Italian, but he is German-speaking Italian from the Tyrolean Italy, like the high mountain, the northern Italy, and he's really of German ancestry. So Reinhold Messner is the first guy that climbed all 14 8,000-meter peaks without oxygen. He is just insane, and he can go from one peak to the other, to the other, to the other without oxygen. He has really changed his physiology and his brain chemistry in a way that it can support high-altitude existence. So this guy is a beyond legend, beyond. He's incredible specimen. So he believes that he saw Yeti on one of his tracks in like the 60s. And he was so convinced. He said, I saw the Yeti at like something like 8 feet tall, moving incredibly quick, very swift, very differently moving organic creature. And he decided to dedicate a large portion of his life for searching for proof. Yes, and Jullian wants to ask a question.
I have a few questions.
Yeah.
Does he have like a third lung or something?
Who knows? It's he and there's a Polish climber. His name is Kukuczka, who died. But those two have done things that are physiologically impossible. They're like freaking aliens. But Reinhold Messner spent decades searching for Yeti while climbing peaks, and he decided to write a book that is based on all of his findings, tracks, prints, footprints, DNA stuff, hairs that he analyzed, and he concluded that the Yeti that he saw was just a Nepalese brown bear. He said, I thought I saw it, but everything that I collected all these years, I believe that it is just a Nepalese brown bear that was just moving very quickly. And, that's a little disappointing because he was completely convinced that it exists. I, on the other hand, have proved that it doesn't exist.
Liar.
Yet it doesn't exist because it
Wrong.
doesn't. No, it does not. I searched and searched and searched, and I found that it doesn't have an Instagram. Anything that doesn't have Instagram doesn't exist.
The Amish aren't real?
No, they're not. They are not.
North Koreans aren't real?
No, they're not. They have the North Koreans that are real have Instagrams. You just don't know about.
And Twitter
Evo,
account
Evo,
as
Evo.
well. Twitter is also must.
Sophia, what's up?
What if the real Yeti was the friends we made along the way?
Wow.
Wow. Julie, she just talked about the power of friendship.
I love the power of friendship. But anyways, I was gonna ask.
My Little
You
Pony.
I think the Yeti is real in that he was just taunting him, so he would know where he's gonna go climbing next and like put footprints in like bear hair.
I know. I hear what you're saying. My question is, where is his Instagram?
His Instagram is just like one of those account named like Numbers Burner.
No.
Sophia
You gotta
just pulled
have
out her phone.
Instagram
I think
to
she's about
exist.
to make an Insta for Sasquatch.
It's a private account, like
Oh.
it has a secret name, it has a secret profile picture.
Checkmark verified Yeti.
Told you.
It's not. It is not real. I checked.
And can you believe he
I
actually
checked.
makes coolers too?
No.
He's so talented.
And
I
water
know about the
bottles.
coolers.
They're the best
I
coolers.
researched
And
the coolers
water.
too. Yeah, no.
Water
All right,
bottles.
gang, we have actually gone a full hour, so I'm just going to ask one more question. And it's unfortunately kind of a meaty question, so we may actually talk about this next week, but I want to just get everybody's thoughts real quick. What do you think about the documents getting found in Biden's old
What are
office? So, Sophia, we'll start with you.
I think you're stupid if you think any president isn't corrupt. I don't trust any of them. Like, I am so unbelievably unsurprised. It is astonishing. That's all I have to say.
Go ahead, Fernando.
But I mean, that's not corruption. That's just classified documents unattended in a desk, correct? That doesn't
Actually,
show
they were in a locked
corruption.
closet, to be clear. A locked closet.
Yeah.
I thought it was
so-
on a desk.
I guess for me, first of all, Julie, I should just let you know that Sophia is now closely running for the favorite position because she's talking my language when she's talking about all these damn politicians being corrupt. Like, I'm all about that. But my question is, we were really, really kind of ready to hang Trump for having all these
Still am.
documents. But
Please do it.
How is that colored by the fact that we've had these documents locked away for the last 6 years that nobody's known about?
Because we're comparing apples and orangutans.
Explain. No,
Okay.
I want to hear.
Because we are talking about some 300 classified documents in a place, by the way, that's already been infiltrated by Chinese spies. We already established that.
Right.
Thank you. And then in addition to that, These documents were requested back multiple times. They were subpoenaed multiple times, and he refused to give them back and refused to cooperate with their investigation in any way. Biden had 10 documents that were in a office that was offsite where he was continuing to work post his administration. As soon as they were discovered, they were immediately turned over, and they are also cooperating with the National Archives.
His team.
Intent.
Exactly.
Yeah, his team returned them, yes. So the intent is very, very different, and criminal intent has a lot to do with all of this situation. So it's literally comparing, I mean, I can't. I can't. It's like first grade math versus calculus. Like, what are we talking about here?
I don't know first grade math yet.
I don't know how to do long division. Like I don't understand. I've never learned how to do long division.
Easy.
I don't know how to do it.
You're just bad at math. Just get better.
I'm great at math. What are you talking about?
So Trump had 800 classified documents at Mar-a-Lago that he was refusing to give back. So at that point, the FBI raided all of his properties because he had over 800 classified documents that he was refusing to return.
It's a witch hunt.
Trump had 800 classified to return. He had 800 classified documents. Biden, as Meredith said, had 10 documents, which is his law team immediately when they discovered them returned. He wasn't even aware that he had them. He also himself is suffering from, I believe, a little bit of mild dementia. Might not have even known he had them in the first place, had taken them in the first place. And also, I'll repeat, why is anything classified? We are citizens of this nation. And we are citizens of this nation. We should know what is going on in this nation.
America.
We should know if anything is classified. We should know about it because we're citizens. There
Alena.
are people that have been extradited from this nation because they have classified documents. I don't think anything needs to really be classified except for HIPAA. HIPAA should be classified.
Alena.
That's classification.
Alena.
Our spies in foreign countries that their lives are endangered by these classified. I mean, you have to classify some information because it
What
can
are our spies in foreign countries doing?
Alena.
But here's the thing.
I mean, let's say in Afghanistan or Russia, you have people that are giving us vital information that can prevent a nuclear war. And
I mean, you have things that are.
But I'm saying 10 documents is, like Meredith said, different than 800.
Okay, I gotta interrupt because again, you are saying that Meredith is right.
And she's right. Leave the girl alone. She's on a roll tonight. Okay?
I'm thinking nowadays it's the 21st century. Who is need to have a paper documents? You can just You can just take a photo with your iPhone and send it to whoever you want. Why you need to keep these documents? I mean,
have you seen Biden?
Do
you think he knows what PDF is?
All right.
And about classified information, I believe that some information, for sure, I agree with you, should be classified. But some of the information is classified for no reason. I just want to remind you about Snowden. Like classify information that they can literally poke into your phone and your emails. I mean, and look what you're doing in your private life. It's not okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, Chris, I know you've been waiting. As long as you're not about to say that Meredith is right, you can go ahead.
You can say it. It's true.
Meredith is right. and so is Sofia. And I'd like to riff off of what Sofia was saying, is that really what this to me points out is the corruption of government, that the fact that we've got documents moving around that we've classified, and 6 years after Biden leaves the vice presidency, we're finding classified documents in a safe or a locked closet in a office that he used while he was vice president. How the heck do we not have some kind of log that says, okay, person X has these documents. Okay, have they brought them back yet? Nope, we need to get those documents back. I mean, there should be greater controls over these things.
But that log would be so massive. I mean, like, realistically, like, the president can write on a napkin and it's classified. Like, you can understand the number of documents you're talking about over an administration.
I agree there, too. There's far too much information that gets classified just because that's the default position that, I've written a memo for the government. I got to classify this.
Yeah.
I mean, and it goes more towards the, just overall general corruption, of the things that, trying to control all of this information, which some of it is important, but,
Jules.
Okay, so, not to say that Meredith is right or anything,
Dude,
but
you live with me. You know better.
Bruh.
okay. I do have to agree with the fact that I feel like criminal intent is something here because it was 6 years ago and he has dementia or supposedly.
He's not diagnosed.
But like it's supposedly he does. So I hope I'm not gonna remember that I put something in a locked closet 6 years ago. That's not something that's on my mind. I don't care what it is. It could be my birth certificate. It could be $65 million in cash. I'm not gonna remember where it is 6 years later.
No, for cash, I remember where cash is.
Hell, I found a whole closet Cassie stashed half her bedroom in when I told her to clean it last week.
Exactly. And
That's irrelevant.
But it's not like he was like. It's not like he tried to keep them or anything. His team didn't even like tell him. They were just like, here, you can have these back. We don't need them. And like if I don't want to say anything, but if Trump had a team and they got told, hey, give us these dogs, I feel like they would be like, no.
Well, that's exactly what happened. He said no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. You don't have to feel about it. It's the truth. It's so we're trying to justify very, very, intensely trying to justify Biden here. And I don't think that we should, because he said when they found the Trump documents, he literally said the following sentence: how can somebody be so irresponsible? That was Biden's comment on the documents, classified documents found at Trump's lair in Mar-a-Lago. He should have known better. Biden should have known better and should have been more meticulous about this. Now, it's a different story. Lou, like Meredith said, it's a different story because
Evo, you're my best friend.
I know, but
Times change, my friend.
The reality is reality, and so, like she said, the Biden team discovered these documents while cleaning the office and moving the office. They immediately gathered these 10 documents and gave them to National Archives and admitted that they made a mistake. And it was a mistake. Now, the story with Mar-a-Lago, we have a grifter who is not beyond making pennies. He is so freaking corrupt. He tries to make money out of anything that he can. And now we find out he's not that rich either. So with these documents...
We just found that out, or we knew that 6 years ago?
It wouldn't be beyond that man to sell shit for millions of dollars. So he refused to give up the documents, time and again, lied over and over again to a point where they had to raid his home to get the documents. I mean, this is not, you can't compare apples and orangutans like Meredith said. You cannot. There is no, this is false equivalency that is good for CNN or Fox News, but you can't fucking draw this false equivalency in this particular case.
Chris, you were waiting. You want to make your point? Because I'm not letting Meredith come back.
I'm coming back.
The biggest issue, particularly between Trump and Biden, is the fact that these documents were from the time when he was vice president. So him having classified documents at an office away from the White House, I can see that as being okay depending on the level of classification, as opposed to Trump, who took these documents after he left the White House.
You forget something. They also found in the Biden's law closet Yeti.
Oh my God!
But
oh my God!
The searches are ongoing because NBC's reporting that a second batch of documents from Biden's time has been found in another location.
So,
which really is the biggest issue for me is how this is going to complicate the persecution for Trump for doing what he did, because the right wing is going to make hay for this and say, well, it's Biden took blah blah blah.
I mean,
so go ahead, Meredith. One more, and then I'm gonna shut it down.
You're good. No, I'm just the only thing I want to say is with response to, because everybody keeps bringing this up, is what Biden said when the documents were taken out of Mar-a-Lago. The biggest thing I take a issue with is saying that, he said that it was super irresponsible and then he did the same thing. I think it's different, not obviously, as I said, but if anybody thinks that Biden himself or Trump himself are carrying boxes of documents out of this building, like they are personally doing this, you're delusional. Like, these are the same people who don't even pick out their underwear. Like, literally, it's laid on the bed for them when they get up in the morning. So I'm just saying, like, how I see it as different is Trump was told that these documents were taken because, again, he probably did not carry out the boxes either, but he was alerted and he refused. So that's why I say, yes, he did say that. And I agree with his statement that it is highly irresponsible. But, again, I don't think Biden was a person carrying a box of freaking classified documents out of the building to begin with.
I just, to Lewis's delight, I want to say Meredith is wrong.
You're welcome.
Biden, there's no way Biden is wearing underwear. There's definitely depends are involved.
And he can't carry
No,
a box.
but one more thing that I read, the link that we sent is actually they found classified documents in the personal envelope, the envelope that says personal items. And there was not only classified documents inside, there was really personal documents. So it may be by coincidence, I'm just speculating that. So it was like, we know Biden. I mean, he might just forget and just, drop personal items and classified documents in one envelope and just forgot about it. So I'm not, saying that it's okay, but by far it's different than what Trump did, right? Because Trump did it in purpose, and the amount of documents that they found in the Trump's property is just not comparable.
Yeah, the sheer number, the sheer volume. Yeah.
Awesome.
My mom is right.
Oh, no. Oh, you just lost your math tutor. I don't know what to say to you. No. All right. Thank you, guys. Evo, before we shut down for the night, did we get anything from the marketing department?
Marketing department, marketing department, in another, example of Susan's titanic incompetence, they have failed to secure endorsement, but I hear secondhand that we actually have an advertiser today, and it is music about philosophy.
I see.
A genre that is not very well represented in popular culture, but it is somewhere hidden deep into the fabric of our society. So we are sponsored today by a song about philosophy written and performed by our own Alena.
Thank you. This is by dead philosopher Socrates, who died 2,500 years ago. What do you know? How do you know? How do you know you know it? What do you know? How do you know? How do you know you know it? Well, I know that I do not know. Oh, yeah, I know that I'll simply never know. What do you know? How do you know? How do you know you know it? What do you know? How do you know? How do you know you know it? Well, I know that I do not know. Oh, yeah, I know that I'll simply never know. Now it's not a crime to be humble and wise. Put you on trial, ignoring your cries. Yeah, it's not a crime to be humble and wise. Put you on trial, ignoring your cries. What do you know? How do you know? How do you know you know it? What do you know? How do you know? How do you know you know it? Well, I know that I do not know. Oh, yeah, I know that I'll simply never know. Now I ask you, please, what do you believe? believe. It's not because I'm mean, I'm just playing Socrates. Yeah, I ask you please, what do you believe? It's not because I'm mean, I'm just playing Socrates. What do you know? How do you know? How do you know? You know it. What do you know? How do you know? How do you know? You know it. Well, I know that I do not know. Oh, yeah, I know that I simply never know. I know that I do not know. Oh, I know that I simply never know. Now you can play Descartes and break your little hearts. I prefer oldies, I'm playing Socrates. Yeah, you can play Descartes and break your little hearts. I prefer oldies, I'm playing Socrates. Now all the boys they hate Socrates. But I can't help myself, I'm not playing anybody else. What do you know? How do you know? How do you know? You know it. What do you know? How do you know? How do you know? You know it. Well, I know that I do not know. Oh, yeah, I know that I simply never know. I know that I do not know. Oh, yeah, I know that I simply never know. Now I apologize for being a great man. I don't proselytize, I hope you understand. Yeah, I apologize for being a great man. I don't proselytize, I hope you understand.
Yeah, Socrates!
That might be our best sponsor yet. I want to say thank you to all of our guests. That would include Alex, Sofia, Jullian, Chris, Fernando, Meredith, Cass, Evo. And playing the role of Socrates is one Miss Alena.
Cheers.
I am Descartes this evening. I am Lewis Walton. I've been your host. Thank you very much.
As long as you're not Kant.
Exactly, because he's kind of a, well, never mind. Thank you guys very much, and this has been another Wednesday Night Undressed.
Woo!
Hooray!